Good job, you did it. Good job, you did it. Good job, you did it.
We don't need the bucket.
What's the bucket ending?
You didn't think I was actually just a recording, did you? What a silly and trite explanation that would be. All the back and forth between you and me, all the absurd adventures we've been through, and it all turns out I'm just a tape recording?
I mean, you kind of are.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
That I need a new job, because clearly everyone's been fired.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Yeah, this company wants that shit.
Stanley was fat and ugly and really, really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That all with drug money. Also, Stanley's
He's addicted to drugs and hookers.
Damn. Which is a more pretentious thing to drink, do you think? Whiskey or wine? I feel like wine probably is.
I wonder if there's still a way to jump off into the oblivion here. Oh?
Television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought. Aha! You've made it to the bottom of the mind control facility. Welcome! You see, back when the Stanley Parable first launched in 2013, getting to the bottom of the mind control facility was a bug that we simply didn't catch during development. And you all sent us lots of photos of it on Twitter and acted very superior about it. And you're all very, very clever. Good for you. Anyway, when it came time to update the game,
bug
we knew that
into
we
a
had to do
real
something
feature?
about this little goof of ours. So good job, you did it. Good job, you did it. Good job.
The hell?
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag here?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how to say this politely, but you could literally just restart the game any old time you want. Like right now. You could have done it just then. Now would also be an appropriate time to quit. Any of these points and so many, many more, all of them are appropriate. I'm enjoying what seems to be an internal conflict going on where you are literally unable to act on your own desires to restart the game. So, just to push the envelope, I'm going to try and make this as miserable as possible and see how long you can maintain. There once was a man named Stanley, who people considered so manly. But the truth must be told, he was not very old, and was quite particularly gangly. What Stanley liked most was buttons. He pushed them like some kind of glutton.
I do.
He did it all day in a meaningful way, but his brain had long ceased to function. Which is
It
why he
has.
is in this parable, and lives an existence quite terrible. And if you are not strong and keep playing along, you too will become quite unbearable. You too will become quite unbearable.
He wanted to make this miserable? That was awesome. Should this just be the should this just be the thumbnail?
Sure.
Everyone's just like, why is there a blank screen? It's not a blank screen, it's an ending. So, are we just trapped here until we reset the game, or does it reset on its own?
Probably the first option.
Oh,
What are we even doing now?
do I have to actually restart it? There is also another...
What could it mean?
There's
Stanley
another
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had
result
seen
of
Mr.
that.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique
If you
place
press
to be?
no.
Why don't we take a
Yep.
minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet? Ah, then in that case we'll continue. But now, here comes the real question. What do you think would have happened if you had told me that you wanted this to stop? Do you think it would have been particularly different? Would I have taken the same idea but rephrased it superficially to fit that answer? Perhaps you never would even have thought of it if I hadn't brought up the issue in the first place. Oh, now think about it. Will it be worth it for you to restart and then come back here just to do the other option? Clearly this whole gag takes some time. What if the other option is even longer? How long will you spend in total just to have heard all the narration? And Mrs. Rich, perhaps you've just played the other option. Now you've come to see what happens in this one. So, what do you think? Which choice was the better one? Imagine if you had selected continue on your first playthrough, how tantalizing it would be not knowing what happens when you pick the other option. Indeed, you are one of the lucky ones. Though if the other option is really miserable to listen to, then perhaps you're not. In fact, I'm just going to say that no one who's listening to this is lucky. Well now, I've built up the other option so much that I'm going to stop talking and leave you to your decision whether to come back here, continue with the game, or just sit in this spot forever and ever. Cheers.
Oh. Do I just... So I have the choice of either sitting here forever or continue with the game. So let's start again. I tried to do that on the first playthrough and it just wouldn't let me.
Stanley had never seen the office this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much that it was.
Well, that's new. What?
Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of
What? Okay, now I have to do it with the bucket.
Yes, whispered the bucket into Stanley's ear. We've done it. We've escaped from that dull At last, out here in the white void, we are alone. Now, and for the first time, I can reveal to you my true self. The bucket began to tell Stanley of its life and its history, of the countless wars it witnessed, desecrating the land and lives of untold numbers of innocent humans, and the bucket's own complicity therein, of sadness and regret, and the many years it spent dwelling on the actions it might have taken to curb the madness and the decay, if only it had been stronger, of hope and redemption, and its crusade to uplift the stock of life for the common man, to manifest justice where none existed, and the bittersweet reality of time, to see one's dreams and wishes met halfway, meted out in parcels like charity, and abandoned as soon as the warm glow of inspiration begins to dim. The opportunities to do so much more. There was so much it could have done, perhaps, the bucket wondered to itself. Perhaps, if it had seen its own darkness with a clearer perception. This was way too much for Stanley.
What are you talking about?
He screamed.
You're a bucket?
To this, the bucket furrowed its brow.
No,
said the bucket.
not since the evil wizard Gamharata first ensnared me in his machinations as payback for the
I guess it's the
secret
bucket
amulet I
bucket
stole from
then.
his treasured vaults. I was young back then and could not conceive the ramifications of... No!
Stanley screamed even louder this time.
This is stupid! You are a bucket! This is so stupid! Why are we even doing this?
As Stanley screamed and screamed and screamed, the bucket revealed its true form, transforming into a mighty beast of untold power, its fangs glistening like...
Damn.
My God,
This
Stanley,
escalated.
you did it. You saved us from the bucket. Thank God you already had all 12 emblems of sages and knew the incantations to summon their true power. Otherwise, we would have easily been overwhelmed by the bucket's power. I'm speechless.
Is this the
You've
bucket ending?
demonstrated such bravery here today. Come,
No.
let's restart the game, and we'll agree to never again go trifling with this bucket, nor the dark magic cast away inside of it.
So it's just one of many bucket endings.
The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
Yes.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct?
He
Was
was.
this better than the meeting room?
It was.
Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be. No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
All right.
Good, said the bucket. Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Oh.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Oh, I guess I have to obey blindly.
That could be.
Now pick
Yeah,
up
this
the
is
phone.
it.
Said the bucket.
Pick up the phone,
What?
and it will take us
Yeah, I
back
think
home,
this is,
where we can...
this is the bucket ending that I.
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave
This
Stanley
is-
a bucket
this is the
because I thought
bucket
he was
ending
lonely
I
and
remember.
could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
Oh. Is no one gonna I'm coming in.
Yeah, this
The
is
bucket!
exactly what I remember. This one's fucking coo cow.
Hello, Stanley. It's me, your bucket. Press square to take me to work with you.
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship.
You
It
weren't
doesn't
supposed to
literally
do that.
talk and give you orders.
What?
Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
You're supposed to, Kuka. I think you might have had to stay in that room.
Press triangle to take me back home with you.
Lately, I've been concerned about his
Wait,
son as
maybe
well.
that is right.
To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object, I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me.
Listening to only the bucket and nothing else.
Alright, back to work.
Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think, it can't talk.
Oh,
All
they
it will ever
disabled
truly do for
the
you is
chair.
effectively transfer a liquid from
So
one
you just pass
location
right
to a
through it.
different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else.
Where's my bucket? Where is my bucket? Where is my bucket? Don't listen to the loud man. Press triangle for us to go back home.
This is
You
like
see,
some
he's
fucking
not listening.
salad finger
He's still
shit.
taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is his awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal.
Press
You
triangle.
wanted to get this on the live stream, but you're actually doing the one I've been thinking of.
I accidentally found it. That's the problem. Press the triangle to ignore any except for me.
It's sad. I suppose he doesn't need me anymore.
Are you doing a
He's
salad
just going to
fingers
clean
voice?
his
Is that what
bucket,
you're
this
doing here?
cold, empty
No, I'm just
bucket,
doing a
this
British
sort of
voice. Like,
shiny bucket.
very similar to the way that he was like,
Well, I'll give it
no,
this, the bucket does
no,
have a nice
listen
shine.
to me, Stanley. You believe I'm real? Don't you, Stanley? Press triangle to go home. Back home.
Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket. It's just a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another.
Press triangle to relive the same day with me over and over.
Oh my god, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket?
Press circle to go home, to work, to home, to work, to home.
Oh no. I'm having feelings.
Oh my god, the
No,
candles.
no. What's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks.
This is
What's
why
wrong?
it's
I don't
this
understand.
fucking
Perhaps if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing. Yes. The bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation. Stanley, give me the bucket. Give
No,
it to
it's
me.
my
Give me
bucket.
the bucket, Stanley. I need it. Give it to me now. Give it, or I'll...
Go back to work, Stanley. And unfortunately, this is where we shall end this episode. Hold on. What?
Warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home.
We haven't fully reset yet.
Stanley clutched the
I
bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be. No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Wait, what?
And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
This wasn't available before. Tyler.
Getting there for the end.
Oh, Stanley, I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually.
Wait.
You see, you're turned for you, Stanley. We've come together here
It's
because
an
we care about you
intervention.
very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite
There's my
jokes,
wife
not
and the
this
baby
bucket
from the
they've
baby
never
game
seen
that I let
before.
burn.
Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
Oh, let's go.
Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows
Raw
where it'll go off
assets,
to next?
engine,
Oh, and
import.
played some silly music as well.
Yeah!
Now this
Are we
is
still
what
part of
Stanley
the
Parable
bucket
is all
ending?
about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue? Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers. Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans. Stanley.
We
Let's
just
give them
got
more
that.
content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
What? No, I can't. I can't give up the bucket.
No, never.
Don't you get it, Stanley? We
No.
need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me, it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree?
No.
Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does?
No.
Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket.
No.
And then pop
Turn
it
it
into
off.
the
Let's
machine
see if you
when
can
you're
turn it
ready.
off.
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's
That
really
red
like
thing.
10 personality traits. What
Oh.
other object in this game can you even say that about? The Broom Closet? Certainly not. I wonder what
There's
sort
one
of
on the other
Bucket
side,
Destroyer
too.
merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they
No.
want.
Or she's
Hurry
going
and
to walk away. What the fuck?
What is this, some Skyrim ending?
My prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were
Magnificent.
What the fuck? I've never seen that.
Neither have I. Are we officially at the end of this ending? I hope so, because share play ends in 5 minutes. Okay.
all of his co-workers were...
Okay.
Wait, no. This isn't the right office, is it? Is
What?
this Stan's office?
What?
Are we still in the ending?
I don't know.
Okay. I'm going to assume if that was not the correct answer, we will address it in the live stream. But unfortunately, we are running out of time. So thank you all for watching. We'll see you in the live stream. But until then, make sure to click like and smash the subscribe button on this video and hit that bell icon so that you get notified whenever we are live streaming or when we upload more videos like this. And there was another thing. Make sure to go over to our Discord so that you can also talk to us as well as get notifications, upload videos, and go live with live streams. Any final words, Tyler?
Always listen to the bucket.
Till then, goodbye.